Hello everyone, welcome to 30-minute yoga class. It's a rainy, gray day. Even though the temperature is starting to get a little warmer with spring, it's one of those days where you just want to bundle up. So if you want to have some sort of a nice warm sweater or a blanket to cover yourself with at the end of class when we go into our final Shavasana, you might want to run and get that now. I have water when I want to take a drink. I've got my yoga block if I want to use it for any balance poses or to support me if I'm any stretches where we have a longer duration. Maybe I don't want to be as intense and down to the floor. I might want to raise the floor up a little bit. So if you have those props, and if you don't have a yoga block, you can always use a small cushion or a rolled up towel. So we're going to start our class by coming down into Shavasana and getting nice and comfortable, connecting to the floor. As you extend your legs, let your feet drop out side to side, and you bring your hands just a little wider than your mat, palms facing up. And then just come to a resting position here. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, if not, keep your gaze soft and just try to climb inside and let go of any noises you might hear on the outside. And now we start focusing on the breathing in and out through the nose. Focus on the chest and the abdomen, rising and falling with each breath. And scan from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers and your toes. Are there any areas where the tension is just sticking around a little longer? Maybe intentionally move that jaw. Unclench the teeth, peel the tongue off the top of your mouth. Maybe slowing the breathing down just a little bit. We don't want to take artificially deep breaths, but if we can try to slow down. On your next inhale through your nose, we're going to count in 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. And now open your mouth and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you can, hold, but if you need to, right away, inhale. Do that again, hold at the top, open your mouth, exhale. And maybe you're making a sighing noise, maybe just listening to the rush of air. Inhaling, hold, open your mouth, exhale. Back to in and out through your nose, and start to wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Extend those arms long, pointing fingers and toes in opposite direction. Inhale. And now as you exhale, bring the knees in and hug. Inhale again. This time when you exhale, lift up your head and shoulders and go into a little ball. Rocking back and forth if you'd like. Slowly bring the head and shoulders back down. Arms between your knees. Hands grabbing on shins, ankles, or outside of your feet. Happy baby. Rolling back and forth, massaging the lower back. come to stillness. Release those feet. Let's take those feet, and if you're comfortable now, you can slowly open your eyes. We've got our legs bent at a 90-degree angle and trying to have your lower legs parallel with the floor. So not here, but hips and knees are aligned. Placing your hands on your thighs, tuck those toes back towards your nose, pull your head up, and now push your thighs against your hands against your thighs, feeling the abs engage. Push, pull, and bring it down. So it's not a push-pull, it's push-push. Let's do that again. So starting to push, lifting up head and shoulders, pushing hands against thighs, thighs against hands, engaging the core. Bring it down, we'll relax. We're going to do that one more time. So bring up head and shoulders and push, resist both ways. Feel the core, keep going, and now slowly bring the head and shoulders down. Hug in. We're going to leave the right leg in, extend the left. You can hover the leg, you can put it right down in the ground. And if you don't like to have your hands over your shins, we can also grab on behind your thigh. Option is to again lift up head and shoulders. And bring the leg in, extend opposite side, hover or place it right down, switching again. Keeping at this pace here, or you can go into a bicycle just for a few. Really engaging that core. So lots of options. And let's bring both knees in. And let's raise right arm above our head. Roll over to the right side. Slowly make your way up into table position. Knees under your hips. Prop up on your toes. Spread your fingers wide. Wrists are under your shoulders, elbow creases not locked, pressing forward. And we're going to sag the belly down into the cow. Inhale, open the chest. And round up, pull the belly in, exhale into cat. Into cow, sag down, really warming up the spine, point the tail up, and tuck in, feel the stretch through the shoulder blades. Try to work at the pace of your breathing, so as you're inhaling, you're in cow, as you're exhaling, you're in cat. You could be going slower or faster than me. And when you're finished, your last one, coming to flat back table, extending the left leg and the right arm, so opposite sides. Palm is facing in, thumb up, and lifting up that back leg. Again, pull the toes back towards your nose, so it's like you're leading with your heel. Balancing table, squeeze through the core, squeeze the glutes, and bring that down. Switch to your second side. You can always leave the foot down if that's where you're comfortable. Squeezing and holding, but make sure we're not holding our breath. And down, let's do it again, second side. Bring the shoulder back onto your body so it's not like we're reaching for something. And switch. And last time. And bring it down. Bring those hands just a bit forward, keeping the fingers spread nice and wide. You're up on your toes, and we come back into downward facing dog. Walk it out, stretch out the back of the legs. You can really exaggerate the side to side with the hips if you want to feel that stretch. And then come to stillness. Point the tail up to the ceiling and the chest towards the floor. And those knees slightly lift up your left leg. Three-legged dog. Pull the toes back. And now bend your leg and hips open up. And we rotate this bent leg in one direction. Slow it down and reverse. And bring that knee into your nose and step between your hands. Stay down nice and low into a lunge. You can bring the knee down if that's where you're more comfortable. And hold your lunge. Your right hand moves a little closer to the inside of your left foot. And then we rotate and open. Maybe even choosing to extend the arm right up to the ceiling. Twisted lunge. Bring the arm back down. Step forward with that second foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, down. Inhale all the way up. Forward fold. Flat back. Hands down, step back. First flow. You can choose to do high or low plank, so knees down or leaving them up. Slowly come down. Flip your toes and just raise up slightly into a cobra. So not into a full upward dog quite yet. And now flip your toes again, ready to push back into downward facing dog. Walk the legs if you need to. Bend and extend your right leg. Open the hips, bend the leg. Pull those toes back to your nose. And we're rotating that bent leg in one direction. Slow it down and go in the opposite direction. Coming in, passing that front foot between your hands, staying in a low lunge. Knee up or down. Starting to do a rotation. Keeping the top arm just resting on your hip or extending. Feel the stretch through the glutes. And come out of that rotation, step forward, flat back, and down. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. Sit down. And coming into chair pose. Chair pose, we want our inner thighs pressing into center, chest up. Taking a look down to make sure we can see our toes past our knees so we're not driving forward, we're sitting back. Breathing, really feeling the thighs working, the glutes. And releasing that. Flat back. Stepping down and flow. Chaturanga Dandasana. Add your push-ups if you'd like. Coming up a little higher. As your body starts to feel like it's warmed up. And then back into downward facing dog. Left leg up. Step through, and then into a high crescent lunge. Come up onto the ball of the back foot, extend those arms. You can have an option of arms out front. And again, as we start to get warmer, we can increase a back bend. As we So we have a bit more warming up to do, so don't go too intense if you are doing that lean. Come up a little higher, moving into warrior two, adjusting the back foot. Heel to arch alignment, strong arms, relaxed shoulders. Tuck in through the glutes. Flip your front palm, exalt your warrior. Coming back to warrior two. Cartwheel down, step that foot back, and before we go into flow, we're going to go over onto one side, into a side plank. So propping up on that bottom arm. If you like to do a less intense move, we bend the bottom leg. If you'd like an option for a more intense move, lift up that top leg. Press your hips up to the ceiling. Slowly come down. Bring both hands on the ground and your choice of flow. And again, as we're warming up, we can become more intense in our upward facing dog. Coming back. Remembering child's pose is always your option if you need to take a few minutes. Otherwise, your right leg is up. Bringing it through, stepping forward, and coming up into a crescent lunge. Up higher on that back leg, and maybe even a more intense lean back. Slowly centering those shoulders over your hips. Inhale and pivot the back foot. Make any adjustments you need to. Keep breathing and settle into your warrior two. Flipping the front palm, exalt. Nice stretch in the front side of your body. Back to warrior two. Cartwheel down. Step back, and before we do a flow, going over onto one side. Option is bottom leg on the ground with a bent knee. Another option is top leg lifting. Pushing hips up. Slowly come down and forward and flow. And back into downward facing dog. Bending the knees slightly and walking your hands back to meet your feet. Now here's where we can use a yoga block if you're more comfortable with it. You don't like the pressure of leaning forward, you'd like to lean on something. Again, choose your various heights. Or you can go into full ragdoll, grabbing onto your elbows. Really bend those knees and press your abdomen onto your thighs. Shaking the head, side to side, front and back. And slowly start to come out of that. Walk your hands forward. Let's do another flow. Adding those push-ups. Back into downward facing dog. And now we walk forward to meet our hands at the top. Flat back. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center, sit back into a chair pose again. You can extend your arms as we stay in chair pose or keep them at heart center. If they're extended, bring them back in because we're going to twist our chair. So we slowly start to turn our upper body. We can have a hand on our thigh. We really want to make sure that as we turn to the left, we don't drive our right knee forward. So options for arms. If you feel like you need the support, a hand on your thigh, keeping your hands at heart center. So trying not to go up to your shoulder. They stay at heart center as you turn. You can even lock your elbow to the outside of your thigh. Come back to center, let it go. Flat back. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center again. Sit back. And twisting to the second side. So you're choosing how low, how deep you are into your chair without driving those knees forward. Taking your elbow maybe to the outside of your leg. Trying not to have the left knee driving forward. Let's come out of that and down. Flat back. Hands down, step back. One last flow. And let's come back with knees down and wider than your hips into child's pose. Using your block, we can rest our forehead a little higher than the floor, or come right down and connect with the floor. Taking a few breaths here. And slowly coming up. Come into a seated position with legs extended. Toes pull back towards your nose. Inhale. And exhale. Just walk out either along your legs, along the mat. Try to keep your chest up. Slowly release. Bit of a release, walk it out. And then again, inhale, exhale. Toes coming back towards your nose. And slowly release. Getting ready to come all the way down on your mat. Extend your left leg. Right leg comes in. Left arm on the outside of your right thigh, and we slowly start to bring the leg over and across our body. Checking on the shoulders, they're both connected to the floor. We're not starting to lift our right shoulder. And again, here's where we can use our block, our towel, our cushion. So maybe this is my limit and I've got some help here. I've brought the floor a little closer. If you're not using a support, you can go right over. Extending our arms. You can place the foot on the ground as the knee goes across. Turning and looking over the right shoulder. So our body's twisting in the opposite direction Knee in one direction, nose in the other. Slowly bring the head back, and then your knee, bring both knees in. Let's give it a roll. Slow it down, and then go in the opposite direction. And now extend the right leg. And we do the same thing on the second side. We start to bring the knee across, starting to stack our hips. Our left arm is extended. And if we're comfortable with letting go with our right hand, we can extend both arms into a T and look over the left shoulder. Nice stretch to the spine. And slowly bring the head back and the legs. And let's hug both knees in again. And we'll do that roll in one direction. And slow it down, go in the other direction. Bring those knees in. Hug it up. Slowly come back down. Arms between your knees. Hands to the outside of your feet, or your ankles, or your shins. Happy baby. If you're a little bit more flexible at the end of this class, we actually have a downward direction with our hands so we can feel that we're trying to bring the knees a little closer to the floor. And then you will feel the stretch get a little bit more intense through the legs, the glutes. And slowly release, extending those legs right up into the waterfall. Toes point down towards your nose. You can support behind your thighs. You can put your hands under the lower spine, bottom. Just give you a little prop up. And let's just hold those legs up so everything flows back into your body, into your organs. Maybe a slow walk on the ceiling. Maybe just a little bending of the knees or a final shake. And bring those knees in and then slowly extend into final Shavasana. Relaxing those legs, your toes fall to the outside of your mat. Arms extended, palms facing up. Checking in on those areas where you are aware that you might be carrying tension, or maybe it's a typical spot for you. Try to release between the brows and the jaw, the teeth, the abdomen. And in our final few moments, just thinking about in and out as we inhale and exhale. Slowly start to wiggle fingers and toes. Slowly ankles and wrists. One last nice long stretch with an inhale. Audible exhale, bring those knees in. Rolling over to one side. Helping yourself come up. Seated position on your mat. Staying nice and tall. Keeping your eyes soft, or maybe still closed, and hands to heart center. So tying in some of the words we heard in yesterday's Global Health and Safety Day about a culture of caring. And in my class 2 weeks ago, the message was, self-care is not selfish. So care about yourself, care about your coworkers, care about your acquaintances. Take care of yourself, take care of people around you. And I know that I will speak on behalf of all of the instructors in the wellness program. We definitely are here because we care about you and your health and your mental and physical well-being. So you are our priority. And don't forget to make yourself a priority as well. Thanks for joining me. Namaste. Thanks everyone, and take care of each other. Have a wonderful day.